Welcome back to another creepy Christmas tale with the collective. Ho ho ho. Tonight we're going to listen to I Emailed My Son's Christmas List to Santa by Summer and Tinkles. But first, please like this video. Subscribe to our channel if you're not currently subscribed. If you are currently subscribed, forward a link or something to someone else so they can subscribe. We like that stuff. And turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything that we post. I want some Hot Wheels, a stuffed iguana, and my 6-year-old son Jeff sat on the bed next to me, thinking. I was typing up my son's Christmas list on my laptop, preparing to email it to Santa. Of course, I was merely going to send it to myself. I didn't trust any of those email addresses claimed to be run by the real Santa, and I wanted to play it safe just in case some creep was trying to use parents' email addresses to stalk their children. Is that it? I asked Jeff. He was always a low-maintenance child and never demanded a whole lot. Jeff nodded. That's all I can think of, he said. I smiled and sent the email before closing my laptop. Now we just need to wait until Christmas morning, I told Jeff. He smiled as he jumped off my bed and ran off to play with his toys. The next morning, while Jeff was at school, I checked my email and was surprised to see a message titled, Your Son's Christmas List. It was from an address I didn't recognize. I opened it up. Hi, Chris. I saw your son's Christmas list, and there is no need to buy those Hot Wheels or that stuffed iguana yourself, like with last year's gifts. I can send it right to you, and you can give it to him on Christmas. I can also confirm Jeff has been a good boy this year, one of the best I've seen. Signed, Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. I was confused. Who was this? How did they know my name or email? How did they know my son's name for that matter, or what he wanted? I told myself it was just one of my friends from work playing along. Yeah, that was it. Yesterday I had chatted with some of my friends over texting about what our kids wanted for Christmas, so one of them had probably just made a new account to add to the fun. I deleted the email and went back to my usual business. Shortly after Christmas break began, I sent Jeff over to a friend's house while I went to the store and bought the toys he had asked for, along with some wrapping paper. After heading home, I checked my email again and noticed a new message from the same mysterious address that had emailed me the first time. Hi, Chris. I saw you went out and bought the gifts that I said I'd bring myself. That's okay. I'll bring my own surprise gift for Jeff instead. See, I've been a little short on elves this season, and I've been looking for new recruits to help me make toys. Jeff is such a good little boy. He'll make a perfect elf. Hope you don't mind me taking him up to the North Pole on Christmas Day. I promise I'll bring him down every now and then to visit. Signed, Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. My heart sank. I hadn't told any of my friends that I had bought the gifts yet. Something weird was definitely going on. I decided to write a response back, angrily demanding whoever this person was to tell me who they were, why they were stalking me and my son, and informing him to stay the fuck away from us, or I would call the police. A few days went by with no response. I felt relieved, thinking the guy had finally gotten the memo and decided to leave us alone, and I completely forgot about it until Christmas Day. While Jeff was asleep during the night of the 24th, I wrapped up the presents and put them under the tree as per tradition. The next morning, while I was still in bed, I expected to hear Jeff excitedly shouting from the living room that Santa came. I was surprised to hear absolutely nothing. Not a single peep. I checked the clock. It was 8 in the morning. Strange. I'd usually expect Jeff to be up earlier than that, especially since it was the happiest time of year for a child. A few minutes passed and I quickly became concerned. I decided to go downstairs to Jeff's room and check up on him to see if he was okay. I knocked on his door before cautiously peeking in. He was laying in his bed. The blanket pulled up to his head, and his back was facing me. "Jeff?" I asked. He replied with a weird grunting sound. Was he sick? I walked over to him and rubbed his head. "Jeff, get up, Santa came." I stopped when I felt a pair of weird bumps on his head, buried underneath his hair. Jeff turned his head towards me and I jumped in shock. His ears were pointed and covered in hair. His face was stretched out like a dog's muzzle. He grunted again and stuck one arm out from under the blankets. Instead of a hand on the end, there was a furry brown hoof, like that of a goat. My face turned pale as I stared in shock, unable to speak or move upon seeing my son's current state. At that moment, I heard a knock on the door. I ran upstairs, desperately hoping it was one of my friends from work who could help. I looked through the peephole and noticed an unfamiliar figure standing at the door. He was overweight, with a red jacket and a long white beard. Thankfully, I'd locked the door so the man couldn't come in even if he wanted to. I then remembered the weird emails from this month, so I pulled out my phone and opened up my web browser. There was an email from last night, sent from the mysterious address. I opened it up, and what I saw nearly made me faint. I just stood there reading the message over and over again, trying to process everything as the man at the door continued to knock. "Hi, Chris. Since you turned down my request to make Jeff into one of my elves, I decided Jeff would make a good reindeer instead. My current reindeer are getting too old to pull the sleigh, and I need just one more kid to complete my new team. I'll be coming over tomorrow morning to pick him up. Signed, Santa Claus."
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!